Welcome back to Grassroots Media. Welcome back to this week's edition of the Terry's Ford and Coach Donahue Show, where we cover everything on the hardwood with the Chokey Doke Lady Black Knights basketball team. As always, I'm joined here with Lady Black Knights head coach, associate principal, athletic director, everything here and there.
That's me.
Coach Dr. Coach Donahue.
That's me.
Coach, how you doing today?
I'm doing well. How are you?
I'm doing all right. It's a nice Thursday afternoon. Yeah. Starting to warm up a little bit, which means spring's around the corner. But the good news for you, you still got basketball ahead for you.
Ball's still bouncing. It's kind of a weird little time. You know, boys are already done, girls are still practicing, so it's kind of a weird. We have first practice every day, the sun's shining, so everybody's going to their spring sport, and we're still practicing basketball. But I think spring sports started a little early this year, but whatever. But anyway, it's a weird time, but it's an awesome time to be playing still.
One of my biggest complaints with the TSSAA scheduling is just the fact that basketball overlaps with spring sports.
Sure.
That's so hard because you want to get some of the early spring sports out of the way, but you've gotten the most important time of the year in winter sports going on at that time too. For you all, you played in the District 1 2A tournament. We talked about you being the number 2 seed going in. Made it all the way to the championship game with Hampton. Unfortunately, didn't go the way you wanted it to, but you got a win over Happy Valley, which got you into that championship game with Hampton. Winning that Happy Valley game, of course, you get another region home game. So take me through your experience in the District 1 2A tournament this year at Unicoi County.
So, Happy Valley upset West Green. Obviously, we were preparing for both, more towards West Green, obviously, but, things happen in tournament time that's hard to explain, and so Happy Valley moved on. When we played them, we had a pretty good game plan. Anderson pretty much runs the show when the ball's in her hands, so we wanted to try and get the ball out of her hands. It seemed like the first half we were rusty. I think I talked to Tate after that. It was the first time we played in 9 days. So
wow.
We played that Thursday, expecting to play the next Thursday, kind of a little 7-day layoff, and then we ended up with the snow going to Saturday. So that was kind of different, unexpected. So we planned out the days. We took that Friday off and then practiced Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, ready to go Thursday, and then snow happened, and so it was kind of a weird little time, and we played like it. We played rusty. I think it may have been you that wrote about Bailey from South Green being rusty versus rested, or was that Tate?
It was Tate. Good
job, Tate, on your article. But you want to be rested when you get to the tournament, not rusty, but. I felt like we were kind of rusty in that first quarter. The fouls, we didn't help ourselves with fouls. Obviously, there's always going to be calls that I don't agree with, and I, make my opinion known. But we fouled way too much. Got our hand in the cookie jar instead of playing with our chest. We played with our hands and got in some foul trouble, and it was hard to get that momentum. But after the first quarter, we kind of got in a little groove in the second quarter, and I think after halftime we allowed 1 field goal, so that's kind of what you want going into the championship game. I think we played well in that second half. I talked to Tate after that game, and one of the things that we try and emphasize is the first 3 minutes after first 3 minutes of the game, first 3 minutes of the second half. You want to go in and you want to put your best foot forward. You don't want to necessarily put yourself any more behind, or if you're up, you don't want to close the gap. So I thought we did a good job coming out at halftime, focused and prepared, and we really pushed it out a little bit to where the lead was insurmountable, and got the subs in. So that's awesome to get those subs in a playoff game, to get that experience. All of our subs are freshmen or sophomores, so it's good to get them in and get them time. But our first four of our first 5 got at or near double digits. I think Sinai had 9. Traylon had no points, but I think she eclipsed double-digit rebounds.
Which is equally as important.
It was equally as important, and played really well in the paint for us, shutting down their big post. So, the first 5 did really well, and then our subs came in and played a lot in the first half and the second half. Jaden Myers, Chloe Kirkpatrick, and we call her Belle, but Isabel Carricker all three played really well, and then to get the subs in and get them some valuable time is valuable moving forward.
And then going into the Hampton game also, we'll talk about this one a little more extensively because I was there for that one.
Sure.
So it's easier to talk about the ones that I was there to see and kind of bounce things off of each other. But first quarter, they get out, I think, 9-1 lead. You call timeout, you storm back. Yeah. Second quarter, you outscore them, and I think you get a 3-point lead before they go on a 4-0 run to take a 1-point lead. Into halftime, you have a really good third quarter. Fourth quarter, they come out, have a really good run at the beginning. And as we know, when Hampton gets out in the fourth quarter, they hold the ball, which they try to do for the last 3 minutes. It's hard to come back after that. So throughout that entire game against Hampton in the championship, take me through your emotions throughout each quarter.
I thought we were pretty ready to play.
Okay.
I went in the locker room, didn't even have to say much. They were ready to go. We talked all week about when we played Hampton, or we've set up the week. Here's who we're potentially going to play. Here's our game plan for both. And once we found out that was Hampton, we came in. The key against Hampton is you can't get down early. They were up 9-1 before we knew it. Had to call a timeout. It was a great call of a timeout by the head coach, whoever he is. But one of the things we talk about, and you and I have talked about it, and we've talked a ton about it, is the response. It's one thing to get down 9-1 early. It's one thing to call a timeout, but you have to respond. You have to get off the mat. Obviously, we got punched in the mouth early. I thought we missed a couple easy layups. I think at that time, I think we said we would have been up 11-9 had we hit our layups when we called the timeout. So, we had to settle down, and our response was really good. We came out. It was a game of runs. It looks like they went on a run, and we'd answer, and then so that was great to see our response be what it was, to come out and not be intimidated, not be scared of the moment. You get in a district championship game, you don't know how your kids are going to react, especially if they haven't been there very much. But we tried to reiterate, it's a game. Don't worry about championship. Don't worry about plaques. Don't worry about all tournament and all that crap. Just come play the game, because at the end of the day, that's the most important thing. So I thought the first half we really played well. Kennedy came out, guns a-blazing. I think Layla came out making a ton of shots. They kind of went to halftime down 1, so we were in a good place. But we just kept fighting, man, and it was good to see our girls come out. Anytime they would go on a run, we'd counter that. And like we talked about after the game, really it comes down to just a couple plays, a couple turnovers here or there, a couple missed shots that they make. They hit a 3 when we hit a 2. It's little things like that. A bad charge call. Anyway, it's a couple things like that turn the game and help. Maybe not even turn the game, but push one team over the other. So I couldn't be more proud of our guys. They battled their tails off. Made shots when they needed to. It was just, at the end of the day, they made 1 or 2 more plays than we did, and hats off to them. Coach Humphrey does a good job, obviously, winning back-to-back district titles the 2 years that they're in our conference. I'm not going to say I'm sad to see them go, but they run a good program, and everybody they threw at us could play. So I thought it was a great matchup to watch.
And you did everything you needed to do defensively at the end of the game. It's just offensively things weren't able to go down. You had, of course, that bad charge that you mentioned. And then
Don't tell the refs. Don't show this to the refs.
Still late in the game also, the layup just didn't go down. And then you are able to get a layup to go down at the end. But, that thing it rolled around the rim.
So she shot it.
What seemed like
I've not even went back to look at it. But I think there was about 12 seconds left. And it just rolled around until there's 0.4. Or 0.8. Excuse me. That's a key. No, I'm just kidding. It wasn't. It was I don't even know what it was at when she shot, but it seemed like it was at 2.
It seemed like it was at 2, yes.
And then
so when it takes more than a full second
I was almost on the court calling a timeout, and he was going.
I think you were.
I think we were together. Me and the refs were both like, so I know I was on the court because I was trying to get that timeout. But
well, what's funny, too, is watching it from my view, too. You were leaned in and he was leaned in. You were both leaned into each other. He was ready because he knew
he was ready and I was ready. It just kept rolling around. So, you know.
I mean, the right defensive
things.
plays were made, though.
Yeah.
You get Jaden Myers gets a steal in the post whenever they're trying to waste clock. Taven gets that steal, takes it in, and then you get Kennedy's layup, I think, later after that. So, I mean, just
could have had
right
another turnover
plays.
on a carry. Mr. Broyles, our principal, was all over that one. He was sitting mid-court.
Mid-court, yeah.
He was up on his feet. He was almost on the court. So,
one time I did see him on his feet was the 5-second call. That's another one.
Yeah.
I mean, the breaks were going your way defensively. They got a 5-second call. He stood up to tell the officials it was 5 seconds, and that's
I felt like
the most animated I've ever seen.
I felt like I was at half court on that one. I turned around and looked, and I thought, oh, shoot, I better get back to my box. But, you know, that game was fun to coach in. It was fun to play in. Anytime you got two passionate fan bases that have great support, and anytime you've got two passionate teams that are going back and forth, it's almost like a heavyweight fight. Who's gonna flinch first? And really, nobody flinched. It was just a couple of things went their way that didn't go our way. And you know, we played a solid game. We kept switching defenses. We lost a couple shooters a couple times, but again, we answered the bell. They hit some shots, and we came down and we hit some shots. So
one thing I talked about with you after the game was your offensive game plan seemed like it was a little different too, where you were kind of matching their tempo and matching their pace. Where
it was more free flow.
Yes, you weren't letting things get to a half court set and running plays. You were going right at them also after they would miss a shot, just like they would do to you, and it worked. As you said, Kennedy had 25. A lot of those came in transition. Layla had, I think, 12.
Yeah.
And I think 6 of those in that second where you were able to take the lead were all on mid-range shots in transition like that. So it was kind of cool to see you change your offensive game plan a little bit to match them and kind of throw something at them that they're not used to seeing.
Sure. Yeah, we wanted to make sure we thought we had an advantage with some of their defenders. And we kind of attacked some people. Not going to embarrass anybody on national television.
Not quite.
But, you know, we thought we had some advantages that we could get to. And we got to our spots and got knocked down good shots. But credit to our girls. You know, we shoot every day, and obviously so does everyone else. But it was good to see the things that we work on. Drive and pull up instead of drive and try and get in the crowd. Drive and pull up and make shots. It was good to see that hard work pay off in the championship game. You know, you build up for the conference championship game throughout the year. So it's great to see all of their hard work from summer on build into a great performance. And, you know, I thought we all played really well. There's nobody that I would go back to and say, here's something you could have done better. Obviously, we made mistakes. But as the game goes on, it's how you react to those mistakes, how you, like we've said, and I thought nobody put their head down. We kept grinding, and we kept playing hard, and that's a staple of our program. If you watch us, you know, we're not going to have somebody go out there and get 30 every night and make 8 threes. We're just a tough, hard-nosed team that they may not say it. I don't know. We'll see. But I love to watch our guys play defense, our girls, and they work hard. And you know, even if they score, another team scores, we're getting the ball out. That's kind of what we talk about. Make or miss, we're on offense. You know, we can't sulk at what we did on defense or what they did on offense. And that came to fruition and showed itself whatever night that was, Monday night.
Monday night, yeah.
You know, we were getting the ball out, not letting them. I don't think the press really hurt us. And actually, I think they got out of the press.
Yeah.
So that's the key to beat Hampton for us was to get them out of the press and let's move the ball and find open shots. And I thought we really did that really well on Monday night for that game.
And then one thing with the win also, it bumps your record, or the district tournament, the win and the loss with Happy Valley and Hampton is you're at 16-13 now going into the region tournament, which I think almost guarantees you another winning season. I hadn't done the math yet, but I think you can't lose more than 3 games the rest of the way. So another winning season under your belt. I'd have to look back and see how many you had up to this point, but
that'd be 2 out of 3. I think last year we were 14-15.
Okay.
Or 14. I can't remember 14-15 or 14-16. But that's a testament to our girls. A lot of people credit myself and credit Coach Nicole, and I appreciate that. I had a couple people stop and say, we've done a great job, but really it goes back to the girls and the hard work that they've put in, and you can see the progression that they've stepped up. Last year's results weren't as great as they have been the last 2 years, but I thought we played really well. There were some games that we lost by 1 or 2 that could have went either way. And like we've said from the time we started this show, you want to put yourself in position to win, and if they're doing the same thing. If you could will yourself to a victory, everybody would, but you got to make sure you put yourself in position to win and let the chips fall, and things will happen. And so, but it's pretty humbling to see the program take off a little bit. It's pretty humbling to be in our third straight regional tournament, and to have our second out of 3 years home is huge. Win or lose, it's great to have our girls play at home one more time in front of the fans, and have LA fans of Lower Afton come and support them and shower the floor with some love. That's going to be cool.
Doing the math, you can't lose more than 2 games the rest of the year, I think, because even if you do win the next 2, that would put you at 5. Lose region championship or substate, that's 2, which you would have already had 2 wins before. So you've got another winning season under your belt. There we go. But
officially,
the number 2 seed going into the Region 1 2A tournament now, you host Pigeon Forge on Friday night. Of course, it's Thursday. This is the night it'll come out. So we'll preview the game right before they play tomorrow night. So we'll be back in just a minute to preview that here on Grassroots Media.
At Terry's Flooring, we have quality products along with quality installers that can make your space look better than ever before. The craftsmanship that our installers bring to the job site is unmatched. Along with the great installers, we have a huge selection of hardwood, LVP, tile, and carpet. We know that spending money isn't that easy, but at Terry's Flooring, we care about your money too. Stop on in and see my Popsy at Terry's Flooring and allow him to save you money while enjoying the hassle-free experience.
For more than 30 years, Tommy's Plumbing has served customers in East Tennessee with licensed and professional plumbing services. From installing your new faucet to replacing your existing piping system, our team at Tommy's Plumbing is trained to handle the job with professionalism, attention to detail, and integrity. By offering warranties on most products installed by our technicians, Tommy's Plumbing stands behind our work, ensuring that your plumbing needs are not only met, but that your problem is solved for the long term. When you need reliable and professional plumbing service, Tommy's is the only call to make. So give us a call today and let us show you the Tommy's difference.
Welcome back to Grassroots Media. Welcome back to this week's edition of the Terry's Flooring Kyle Donahue Show, where we cover everything on the court with the Chucky Doke Lady Black Knights basketball team. As always, I'm joined here with Chucky Doke head coach Kyle Donahue. Got Pigeon Forge coming up on Friday. Region 1 2A tournament. Talked about it, number 2 seed going into it. Hosting for the second time in 3 years now in this run of 3 straight region tournaments. You got the Lady Tigers on Friday night. You know more about them now. Tell me what you know.
They're a good team. Obviously, any team that is this far is a good team and has played well. I think they finished third in their conference down there and finished third in the tournament as well. So they're right there with everybody else. I think they've lost Alcoa and GP, but
understandably so.
They bus driver calling. They shoot well. We're going to see how they shoot on the road, but they shoot well. They've got probably one of their best players ended up tearing her ACL toward the end of the year against GP in one of those games. So they're without her, but they've still got plenty of firepower. They've got a couple lefties that can make shots, and Stahl Cup is number 23. She's going to be their player, and we got to make sure we stop them offensively. They run constantly. One of the things I like to watch is players move without the ball. If you watch for us in our conference, it's Smith from Hampton. Mm-hmm. She's constantly moving without the ball, finding places to get, running people off screens. Their offense at Pigeon Forge is very similar They do a lot of motion and a lot of movement, and you have to make sure you're prepared for that and make sure that you're in position to help if you need to help, but making sure you're not getting caught around the screen and going over top and taking your time and they get a cheapy layup. But offensively, they've got just as much firepower as anybody we've played. Defensively, they're going to press us a little bit, 2-2-1, which we've seen a lot this year. And then they're going to drop back into a zone, so we got to be able to move the ball and make shots. I like where we're at as far as zone offense. So we're putting some things in yesterday and today that we can get the ball to the middle and knock down shots, and that'll be key. If we can get the ball to our spots and knock down shots, then we'll be okay. If they're forcing us to take shots that we don't necessarily want to take or don't need to take or missing, then it could be a long night for us in LA. But I think if we can get them moving a little bit within our press, I think we can get some steals and some transition buckets and start us off strong. Obviously, everybody's going to be nervous when you come to a region tournament game that's do or die. You're always nervous no matter what you prepare for. So mitigating nerves and withstanding that first wave, similar to what we talked about with Hampton, is going to be crucial, and then settling in and getting ourselves to a position to where we can pull it out.
Talking about nerves in a region tournament, too, you can understand that because a region tournament, you're playing against teams that you might not have seen all year.
Sure.
You could, of course, schedule those teams in that opposite region if you want to, and sometimes teams do, but for the most part, you've not played any of the teams in that opposite region all year, or I think last year in your regular season scheduling. So it's not like the district tournament where you go in, you've played them twice, maybe 3 times, and you know what you're going to see. You're going in, and it's almost, we talk about the playoffs always being a brand new season where everybody's 0-0 every game, but for the region tournament, it's almost true in that sense because you're playing teams that you don't know anything about. You don't know their names. You might know the school and the mascot, but you virtually almost don't know anything about them. So it's sort of nerve-wracking going in not knowing a single thing.
Right. It is nice to have this little break between the championship game on Monday and Friday, so you get a chance to unwind. One of the things we did on Tuesdays, we played kickball.
Love kickball. We
went and shot, and then, I didn't necessarily want to give them the day off. Wanted to have a fun day together. They earned kind of a day that they could unwind. The season's a grind anyway, so it's tough to be on every day. So we gave them that day, and we're in the meantime we were scouting. Gave it to my scouting department so they could scout it out. Myself at home is what I mean by that. But Coach Nicole and I've been watching. Got a couple films off random places on the internet. You can about find anything on the internet if you look hard enough.
Especially game film, apparently.
Especially game film. Go check out the internet. But we got some film, so but you're right. It's one thing to play Hampton or South Green or West Green or any of the others in our conference, Johnson County or Happy Valley, 3 or 4 times and kind of know what they're going to do and kind of be able to shout out to Hannah Smith. She we were calling a play on a defensive play, and she's about from me to you, and she was like, they're about to come trap, and I was like, daggone it. How did she know that? How did she catch on? But, it's inevitable when you play that much against each other that you become familiar with plays and become familiar with play calls. So going to that other conference, you could use it as an advantage or disadvantage. They don't know us either. So, but it's a kind of a daunting task to get ready for somebody that you don't know. It's almost in the football vein. You get a whole week to prepare for one game. So that's good, and you've got a day or two in between the next game after you win, so you got to make sure you've kind of set yourself up pretty well, and you don't want to be scrambling after that. But all our focus is on Pigeon Forge, and we've done a good job of scouting them out, and now it's just about rehearsing on today, Thursday, and then going into Friday performing well.
How exciting is it to host another region tournament game, too? Because thinking back 2 years ago when you played Union County, I think was when you had the former players from Chucky Doak as the sisterhood. You wore the shirts. sat behind the bench. I think the only senior you had back then was maybe Talia Johnson.
Talia and Cameron Beals. Yep.
And I know Talia, I remember she had her moment whenever she was able to come off the court. You want that with senior night, but when you get another game like this, you don't want it. You want it to be their last home game in a sense, where you walk off with a win and can have that moment. Of course, you'd like to have another sub-state game too, but it's like whenever you have senior night, you're not guaranteed a home region game too. So, how exciting is it having another region tournament game here in Lower Afton?
It's huge. It's huge. You know, that's a testament to the program and the girls and how hard they've worked. They, not saying anybody else doesn't deserve it, but they deserve to have one more game at home and play in front of our fans. And we're expecting a raucous crowd. You know, a lot of the bleacher creatures coming out. So, I mean, it's huge for us to play here, and you know, the girls all say they don't shoot as well here, but just to be familiar, you know, you don't have to go on the road, you don't have to get a bus, you don't have to do any of that. You can kind of relax and run out of our doors again and see your name up on the board is cool. So it's awesome to be able to host the region here. And hopefully it's not the last time, but you know, the goal is always, especially towards the end of the year, to be able to give those seniors one more walk off by themselves, like we did with Talia, or like we did on senior night, just so that people, like I said, after senior night, so we can honor them and all that they've given to the program one at a time. I think that's a really cool thing to do, and
especially in a region tournament, because you go down to being one of the final 32 teams in the state. And to do it in a playoff game, especially senior night, you know you're probably going to get that moment. You're not guaranteed that moment to walk off the court one last time in a playoff game.
And one of the things I told the girls that you don't necessarily think about when you get towards the end of the year, we're 3 wins away from state, which is crazy to even think about. You're 3 wins from state. They're 3 tough wins, and they got to be the right ones. You got to win 3 out of 4. But you know, you're close, but at the same time, you can't really think about down the road. We got to focus on one game at a time, like we've been doing, and make sure we win that game, and then the next game comes. We got to make sure we focus in on that and take our best swing, and you know, let the chips fall where they may. But it to have it here for our girls is something special. I know they'll cherish it and they'll remember it long beyond their time here, and it's for their legacy and legacy of the program. It's awesome to host it.
That's a good way to put it. It's kind of being a region tournament host is it is a legacy game in a way, because if you're a program that's not at the top where you're going to the state tournament every year, I mean, you can kind of get complacent in those situations where you're used to it happening. But for a program that you're turning around like this, it is a legacy game for not only your coaching career, their playing careers, but just the program as a whole. Seeing the way it's turned around from when you took it over to now, it's awesome to see those region tournament games being played here in Lower Afton. I know you're excited. You've got to be excited being able to host one.
Pumped. Can you tell?
Yeah.
No, I'm excited. You know, it's like I said, it's a testament to the girls and how hard they've worked, and it's always great to get to play at home, and you know you know where the bathrooms are, and you know where the what the popcorn's going to be, and you know you don't have to worry about the bus ride, but it's to be able to come out and perform, especially for some of our older crowd that aren't going to travel. You know, we had a great crowd at Unicoi, but you know, if you play down at Alcoa or you play at GP or Oneida's on the other side of the world, you end up down there. You know, it's hard to get fan support there, so it's good for our seniors, it's good for our team, but it's also good for our fans to come back and be able to shower them with some love and support, and hopefully we get a great crowd that night that is behind us as our 6th man.
Unicoi, did you eat the popcorn?
Listen, shout out to Unicoi. They did what they could. I wasn't a fan.
Oh, you were?
I wasn't a fan. Were you?
It wasn't the same popcorn as 2 years ago, I will say that.
Okay.
But
because I remember you saying it was good popcorn. I
hyped it up too much. I apologize.
Yeah. It was okay.
But I had to be in that little popcorn box and just be $1.
Look at his hand. How am I supposed to get that?
You're right.
It's tough. I ended up having to shake it out. It was one of those things, but
it comes in a little cool popcorn box like that, and it's only $1, so that puts a little extra.
Well, we had
into its ranking.
The coaches had, instead of having a hospitality room, we had a pass, so we can get what we wanted at the concession stand, and you know, before games, I'm not trying to eat a ton of food. A, spill it on my pants that I have to wear and then look stupid, but also I'm not trying to have an upset stomach while you're standing out there. That's not good. So I had a couple boxes of popcorn. So it was all right. Nothing to write home about.
I can't help but look at what's on your desk right now. I can't believe they have Neapolitan Lindor truffles.
Oh yeah, that's
crazy.
That was from Miss Wagner's group. I think it was the student government.
A limited edition too. So
edition. Hey, check it out. Check out Lindor Mint Neapolitan.
I feel bad though. We're shouting out Lindor, but we haven't shouted out Terry's Flooring yet.
I've not had one yet. Well, I was gonna say that even though if you drop one of these on your new hardwood floor and you think this is never going to come out of this floor and you have to get new flooring, just go ahead and call Terry's Flooring, terrysflooring.net, and check them out. I've heard that they are great at installation as well. So if you don't want to do the work like I'm about to do on Friday, I'm not going to do the work. It's going to be the girls. Just call Terry's Flooring. Let them do the work for you. You can stand around and direct them and yell at the refs. I mean, whoever else is standing around.
That's the fun part of your job, ain't it?
I do like cutting up with refs. They're human too, and I have to apologize sometimes. I don't cuss anybody.
Without saying names.
I don't say.
Without saying names.
No, you're not going to get me into that.
That you ride too hard?
No, I mean, no.
That's a yes.
No,
that's
there's
a yes.
not. I love all referees. I do. All joking aside, I do get, obviously all coaches get mad at refs, right?
Yeah,
that's the natural order of events. But they have probably the toughest job.
Yeah.
They've
got to pay attention to so many things at one time.
They've got to watch the entire game. They got to watch the whole floor, their area. I hear that all the time. Watch their area. But they also come into the game knowing that one group's going to be happy, one group's going to be mad, or potentially both groups are going to be mad. Nobody's going to leave happy at refs, and it's just those three guys or gals, and their teammates got to support each other. So it's a thankless job. They do well. They get paid pretty good, but they have a thankless job, and sometimes I get a little overboard. Like I said, I don't cuss anybody. That's not me. I do get a little heated at some of the calls, and that's natural, I guess. But I try and keep it under wraps. One of the things I noticed, and my dad also texted me that when coach gets a little excited at the refs, it seems like everybody gets excited at the refs. So I've tried to calm myself down. Most games, I try not to be all over refs.
I could see that argument. But I better not.
What I really hate it for, and I've apologized numerous times for Sam when Coach Donahue riles up the refs in the girls' game.
And then Sam's got to do one.
And then they go back and get a sip of water and then got to come back out and Sam's out there. I have apologized a couple times for that. Because they're human too, they go back in there and they're sitting down yelling about whatever I've said to them or whatever, and then they got to come right back out in their little sweatsuits and then Sam's yelling at them. Sam yells more than I do. Let's just be honest. Would you agree or disagree?
Well, you have a louder voice.
Okay.
I don't hear Sam yelling, but watching Sam down there when his hair's shaking,
he's all over him.
Yeah,
his hair's shaking and his jacket's flowing. He's all over him.
I've not seen that jacket come off before, but there's been a few times where I think I've seen him take a sleeve down, and I'm like, "Oh, Sam, don't do it."
It's either UH or Cherokee. He didn't even wear his jacket; he wore a short sleeve.
Oh,
but I have apologized.
There are times. I think one time I don't remember the game, but he was flustered and he took that sleeve off, and I was like, "Oh, he's about to throw the jacket on the floor," but he didn't. He refrained.
Good job, Sam.
But do you think he does yell more than you do?
Yeah,
it's 100% fact.
You can ask him.
I don't hear him. I hear
in.
you because you've got such a louder voice.
Yeah,
but
we'll bring him in.
He does yell a lot.
Next episode, whenever the last episode is.
We'll hopefully not next week.
No, it'll be 2 weeks, 3 weeks. When's the state tournament? I don't even know.
4 weeks.
4 weeks. Okay.
Well, no. We could do 4 more, I think.
4 more episodes.
Because you do one next
Let's
week
just go
before
into
the
spring.
region.
Let's just come in here and talk ball.
Before the region championship, we do one before the state tournament. 3.
Okay.
4 if it's a boys team because
Okay.
their state tournament's an extra week.
We're going to have
3.
7 more episodes. We're going to beat everybody else out. Anyway.
Record for
They've
most.
heard enough today. Go visit terrysflooring.net if you need any flooring needs.
Limited
them
edition
out.
Neapolitan Lindors.
Limited edition.
I think
Check
that's all
it
we
out.
got.
All right, man.
Friday night, 7 o'clock. Check it out. Pigeon Forge.
If you're
Jake's-
watching this at home, if you're watching this tonight at home, it's Thursday night, or you're watching this Friday during the day, come on out. $8 to get in. That's Tito Us Blade, so don't yell at me or our gate workers, please. But also, gates open at 6.
Don't show up before then.
Come on in and get a good seat and check out the popcorn. Bowling team will be working, tell them how great they did at state. And come support the Lady Knights to victory. It's going to be a fun night.
All right.
Appreciate it,
Once
man.
again, appreciate you for letting me come in. Thank you all. We still don't have a name for this office yet. Still don't have one. Thank you all for watching this week's edition of the Terry's Flooring Coach Donahue Show. We look forward to seeing you next time here on Grassroots Media.
Go Black Knights.